Hello everybody, I am back in not so sunny Florida. It's raining at the moment, not heavy rain, it's light rain, and it's really cloudy and overcast, still warm, but we have a tropical storm that's just rolled in. It started last night. Luckily I landed before it started to get heavy, so that was good, but it was a little bit turbulent as we were trying to land. But yeah, we get constant from now until October. It'll be storm after storm, hurricane, you name it, it starts from about now. But at least it's not too hot. At least it's not too hot. It's nice and humid. Had a brilliant 12 days in the United Kingdom. Managed to attend a street party, celebrate our Queen's Jubilee. Spent my time between Suffolk and Hampshire, spending time with my family and friends. It was really a great experience. And what I want to do is a really quick vlog on my experience from travelling from Gatwick North Terminal to Orlando International via British Airways. So here goes my tips. Okay, so tip 1. As now we're coming into peak season with travel, I would highly recommend if they have availability to book an airport lounge. I booked the No1 lounge at Gatwick. Now I actually went on the No1 lounge website first of all, and it had no availability for the time and date I wanted to go. But then I went through holidayextras.co.uk and I was able to get a lounge pass. So don't panic if there's no availability on the actual No1, the actual lounge website. Try a third party, because they obviously buy an allocation in bulk and then send them on. So try other websites if you're if the main website is fully booked. That's what I'm trying to say. It costs for Eden and I, so Eden is 5, it costs £52, so it's not cheap. But when we got to the airport, Gatwick was heaving. Literally there was queues at every restaurant out of the door. You're probably waiting for half an hour for a table, and as you know, you haven't got that much time. By the time you get through security, by the time you find a place to eat, you haven't really got that much time before you start boarding. So that was my other thought too. I had a feeling it might be busy, being, you know, it was half-term week, Queen's Jubilee is on. I just booked it last minute, so I was glad that I did, because also the other side of not the fact there was loads of queues to get into the restaurants, you couldn't find anywhere to sit, so that would be quite difficult, especially if there's a group of you. There was only 2 of us, so we might have found somewhere, but the seating was quite sparse. So with the lounge, I knew we'd be guaranteed a seat. Now, when we got to the as we walked through the terminal and saw how busy it was, I was thinking, oh, I'm so glad I booked the lounge this time, because I don't typically do it. We got to No1 lounge and there was a sign up saying no more walk-ins. It was pre-booked only, they were full capacity. So just a heads up on that one. Now, when you get into the lounge was quite busy, but you still got a table all to yourself. You could get what included in the money you paid was you get breakfast. So they had sausage, they had beans, they had bacon, they had scrambled egg, they had a cereal station, they had pastries, they had fresh fruit, they had oatmeal, they had toast. So like, it was a buffet, but it was a smaller buffet, but it was perfectly adequate. I saw a few people drinking Prosecco. Now, I don't know if the Prosecco is included in that or if you have to pay extra. My presumption is that you have to pay extra for alcohol, but I will check into that. There was free tea. There was a tea coffee machine, so you could get cappuccino latte. You just help yourself to the machine. The staff will clean all the tables. There's screens in the lounge itself, so that you don't have to keep going out to check that if where your gate is and when you're boarding, etc. There was a quiet area as well in No1 lounge. Like, there was a quiet, like almost like a library area. So if you wanted it really quiet, you could go in there. And then also next door, they had like a sports area where they have a big sports screen showing all the sports. So that was kind of cool too. There wasn't anything that I saw for the kids to do. But to be honest with these lounges, they're not really geared towards the kids. But what we did come across is that outside the No1 lounge on the top floor, there's like almost like a kiddies play area. So it's just, there's lots of like things on the walls they can play with. They can run around. It's all cushioned, so they can throw themselves up and down. They had like like they're kind of like the inflatable building blocks, so they're jumping off that. Anything they can do for 15-20 minutes just to burn off some steam before you take that long flight. They just take the shoes off and run around. It's all free. So that's a really top tip if you're traveling with children. Make sure they burn off some steam. Now, I do know for the other terminal, for North Terminal, because I typically, so here's the other thing, BA flies out of the South Terminal Virgin fly out of the North Terminal. Now, typically, I always fly with Virgin. I've always preferred the service. But recently, I found BA coming in a lot cheaper. So, you know, at the end of the day, money's important to me. I've been going with BA. The flight actually was packed, absolutely jam-packed, not a seat available flying back to the UK. But we had a really empty plane going back to the USA. I guess it's the end of half-term week, so, you know, you're not going to get many families going at the end of half-term. I'm sure it was busy going at the beginning last week. The flight entertainment was fine. It was all right, bit basic, but, you know, like, we've had COVID the last couple of years, so there's not been a huge amount of blockbusters being released anyway. Food was all right. It was okay. It was average. I could have done a little bit better on the food. Like, for instance, the children's meal, when they brought over the children's packed lunch, it was exactly the same as the adults. It was a chicken salad sandwich, which is just, it's like chicken mayo, there's no salad in it, with a crunchy and a drink. It was exactly the same, where I was like, I don't know, they could have done something different for the kids, like the kids sandwich. They could have done jam sandwich or a ham sandwich with a yogurt, you know, or a muesli bar, or it just could have been a bit better, or a packet of crisps. Even with the lunch, I found the lunch for the kids just wasn't good. It was pretty much the same as the adults. I just thought, you know, like, kids don't really eat Black Forest chocolate gatto, you know. They'll have a yogurt, but they, you know, maybe that's just my kid, but I just thought they could do much better when it comes to their catering. They could do much better. It just surprises me that they're still, but maybe they're still cost cutting. Who knows? But they come around with quite a few drinks and stuff. You know, I had a gin and tonic, which was really nice. So, you know, I can't fault it. And I saved a lot of money going with BA than I did Virgin. So, but what I was going to go, before I went off on a tangent, there is a kids soft plate area also at North Terminal with Virgin too. So there is one there that side, because we used to take Eden to that one as well. So there is a kids area at both places, and there's also lounges at both terminals too. Shops are fine, you know, shops are shops, duty free, boots, whatever you want. But if anyone's got any questions about the journey, let me know. Like I said, it was really nice. Got back to Florida, it was great. We had 3 seats with just 2 of us. We could really spread out. The rest, I'll send some pictures. The rest of the flight was empty. Staff were really nice. Really couldn't fault anything besides the food, really. And that's it. So I hope those little tips will help you. But yeah, definitely book the lounge. Get the kids to run around and play, and just keep an eye on the screens as well, because our flight was meant to be delayed. But when it said more gate info, it was meant to leave at 11, but then it said more gate info at 11, so I knew it was going to be delayed. But when I looked up at 11, it suddenly said boarding. There was like no in between. I was like, oh, great, right, quick. So I think we left, I want to say it was around 12, I think, but we made up the time. So I hope that information is informative. I'm obviously going to do now some more Orlando content. I've got a really exciting couple of months lined up. We're going to be going to Daytona Beach for July 4th, staying in a seaside hotel there. We've got lots of other things planned. We're going to go to SeaWorld, Aquatica, when the weather gets a bit nicer. So yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, see you soon. Bye. The other thing I was going to mention about, I know there's been lots of stuff in the press about the security lines. To be honest, we did the bag drop, walked straight through on the bag drop, dropped our bags in, no problem there. And then security maybe took us 10-15 minutes. It really wasn't that bad at all. So from what I read in the media, our experience was completely different. But I did get to the Gatwick 4 hours before our flight, just because I'd read all this stuff. But we didn't really need to be there that early. But still, I'm glad we did, because I'd much rather be somewhere too early than be rushing. But yeah, our experience was that the lines weren't for security. We're absolutely fine. Mm-hmm.